Buy Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Reassuring words. Dr. Anil Jayasinghe says Kandakadu cluster under control as the World Health Organization reminds the public not to drop the ball.
The new cluster is a reminder that COVID-19 is not yet over. Wash your hands, wear a cloth mask, watch your distance, be responsible, do not spread rumors.
Fear strikes. Colombo Stock Exchange hits a low, dropping on COVID-19 resurgence jitters. Another caught in the net. Ampara Police Chief Inspector arrested for concealing Saindamarudu blast evidence. Long time coming. Monetary Board suspends ETI Finance and Swarnamahal Finance Services over recovery in action. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Monday, the 13th of July, 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Nava Sunlight Sakura. Then Dikukal Pavathina Sakura Mal Suandin.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamke Kanaga. Let's start with your local stories. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jayasinghe says that although increased COVID-19 numbers are being reported stemming from the Kandakadu cluster, the outbreak is more or less under control, with the authorities continuing to monitor and handle the situation. As of today, 25 new cases have been reported from the cluster, a significant improvement from yesterday's 106. Meanwhile, health authorities are continuing to test, trace and quarantine possible new cases as the government announced a temporary halt to repatriation of overseas Sri Lankans in order to avoid pressure on quarantine centres.
According to the Government Information Department, 14 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been detected during the day so far, which are affiliates at the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Facility exposed to the virus. Meanwhile, a total of 106 COVID-19 patients were identified within the island yesterday. Among them, 76 are inmates transferred to the Senapura Rehabilitation Centre from the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre, while 14 among them are affiliates at the Rehabilitation Centre. Meanwhile, 6 out of yesterday's infections are identified as residents of Rajanganaya who had come into contact with an infected individual from within the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre. The remaining 10 are arrivals from overseas.
මෙහිදී අත වශයෙන්ම ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ගැටලු සහගතව තියෙන රාජාංගනයේ ප්‍රදේශය ඊට අමතරව වැලිකන්දේ යම් නිලධාරියෙක් නිසා පහේ පන්තියේ පාසල් ළමයෙක් පාසල් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ වගේම නිලධාරීන් අපිට හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා හබරාදුව ඒ ප්‍රදේශවලින්. ඉතින් ඒ අය සියල්ල ඒකරාශී කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඒ අය සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ සෑහෙන දුරට එය අවසන් වෙමින් පවතිනවා. නමුත් මේ අතර තව රෝගීන් හඳුනා ගැනීමේ අවස්ථා ඇතිවන්නට පුළුවන්. ඒක අපිට නිශ්චිතව කියන්න බෑ.
Meanwhile, the upturn in the number of COVID-19 cases have led to movements in 4 Gram and Niladari divisions in Rajanganaya being restricted. What's more, 3 councillors of the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre residing in the areas of Devaligama, Aheliagoda and Kuruvita in Ratapura have been detected as carriers of COVID-19. Measures were also taken to place their family members and associates in quarantine. Meanwhile, with the Deputy Station Master of the Unawatuna Railway Station being identified as a close associate of the councillor at the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre residing in Habradu in Gaul, measures were taken to close the railway station. Health authorities acted promptly to subject the Deputy Station Master to a PCR test. In more developments, a soldier of the army deployed at the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre also tested positive for the coronavirus. 40 close contacts of his, including his wife, were directed to quarantine. With 2 soldiers from the Dehiattakandia area attached to the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre being infected with the COVID-19 virus, 17 residents of Serupiti and 15 residents of Diavidagama underwent PCR testing. Shops in the area were also seen closed due to the situation. Meanwhile, measures were taken to temporarily close the Department of Motor Traffic in Trincomalee, owing to an infected army soldier attached to the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre visiting the institution. Upon scrutinising their travel history and identifying links with officials at the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre, 33 people from the village of Bandiwewa, Sevagama and Sangabodhi were directed to self-quarantine. Accordingly, the number of COVID-19 cases in the country is currently placed at 2,642, with 650 among them being active cases. 1,981 people have recovered from the virus so far. According to the Government Information Department, 25 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been detected during the day so far, who are affiliates at the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Facility and inmates of Senapura Rehabilitation Centre who were exposed to the virus. Considering the current situation, the government has decided to temporarily suspend the repatriation process of Sri Lankans. Additional Secretary to the President on External Affairs, Admiral Janath Columbage, said the move was prompted by the limited availability of quarantine centres. However, 178 Sri Lankan expats in the Maldives arrived in Sri Lanka at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport today.
Now, the World Health Organization country representative Dr. Razia Pense says although the appearance of new coronavirus cases and clusters is not entirely unusual as the world goes through an accelerated pandemic, what is most important is the ability of the country's health system to trace, test, isolate and care for the affected. While adding that there are no quick fixes in such a situation, Dr. Pense called on the public to continue to play their role and follow the basic prevention measures such as wearing masks, washing hands and maintaining social distancing. Further, she urged Sri Lankans to be responsible and stay at home if they show signs of sickness and avoid disseminating false information.
World Health Organization country representative Dr. Razia Pense today weighed in on Sri Lanka's wave of new COVID-19 cases stemming from the Kandakadu Rehabilitation Centre.
The appearance of the new cluster of cases is a reminder that COVID-19 is not yet over. We are in the middle of an accelerating pandemic. Virus anywhere is a threat everywhere. Appearance of new cases and clusters is not entirely unusual. What is most important is the ability of the system to trace, test, isolate, care for cases, track and quarantine the contacts. As we transition from restrictions to opening up, we must acknowledge that there are no quick wins. Complexity and uncertainty is inherent to this pandemic response. We need to continue to be vigilant and ensure that the public health and social measures are implemented. We need to continuously monitor the effectiveness of our response and adjust our measures.
Dr. Pense also reminded the public on the continuation of prevention measures that previously played a huge role in Sri Lanka's successful handling of the first wave of infections.
The early preparedness and response of Government of Sri Lanka and the inherent capacity and strength of the public health system in Sri Lanka, including that for disease surveillance, has ensured that we were able to contain the epidemic at a cluster level. These new cases are also in a cluster. For us to build on the gains and continue on our success to contain the virus, it is important that each one of us continue to play our role. Follow the basic prevention measures. Wash your hands, wear a cloth mask, watch your distance. Be responsible. If you're sick, stay at home. Be kind, be helpful. Do not spread rumors and seek and disseminate the right information. Together, we can come out of this epidemic stronger and better prepared. Be well and stay safe.
Now, shifting the topic to polls, the postal voting process for the upcoming general election commenced across the island today in compliance with health and safety protocols. Speaking to media, Chairman of the Election Commission Mahinda Deshapre called on the competent authorities to gazette the relevant health guidelines pertaining to the election without delay. He added that setbacks in publishing the gazette would make the election process all the more difficult.
Casting of the postal votes for the looming parliamentary election commenced today for 705,085 state employees eligible to exercise their franchise. The Election Commission announced that it is a must to maintain social distancing, wear face masks and sanitize hands, while requesting the public to bring their own pens, either blue or black in colour, to cast votes. The Election Commission has announced a 7-day period to vote via post starting from tomorrow. Postal voting for state institutions will take place on the 14th and 15th of July. Voters who are serving in security forces, police, civil defence department, health sector and district secretariats, as well as election officers, will have the opportunity to cast their postal vote on the 16th and 17th. Postal voters who are unable to cast their votes on the dates provided, owing to unavoidable reasons, can cast their vote on the 20th and 21st at their respective district election offices. In other developments, considering the risk posed by COVID-19, the postal voting process in the Rajangani Divisional Secretariat has been postponed. The Election Commission is yet to announce a fresh date for the Rajangani Divisional Secretariat to cast vote.
රාජාංගනේ රජයේ කාර්යාල නිරෝධායනයට යටත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒවැ නිලධාරීන්. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා අපිට ඒක කළමනාකර ගැනීම අපහසුයි අද. ඒක නිසා තමයි අපි මේ ඡන්ද විමසීම, තැපැල් ඡන්ද ලකුණු කිරීම කල් තිබ්බේ. අපි මේ දවස් 14 ඉවරවන පස්සේ ඒ ගමේ නිරෝධායන කටයුතු එම ප්‍රදේශයේ රාජාංගනේ ප්‍රදේශයේ මහජන සෞඛ්‍ය පරීක්ෂකවරුන්ට නිදහසක් ලැබුණම තැපැල් ඡන්දේ තිබීමේ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරනවා නැවත. අනික් අතට අපි නිසි බලධාරීන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා කරුණාකර නොපමාව සෞඛ්‍ය මාර්ග උපදේශ ගැසට් මගින් ප්‍රකාශයටපත් කරන්න. නැතුව බොරුවට මාස්ක් දාන්නේ කියලා අත්සෝදන්නේ කියලා මීටරේ දුරෙන් ඉන්න කියලා වැඩක් නැහැ. අපි තා දැඩි ලෙස මැතිවරණ කමිෂන් සභාව ප්‍රකාශ කරන කැමැති ඒක නැති වුණොත් ඡන්දේ තියාගන්න එක අපට හුඟක් අමාරුයි.
Who said what on the election campaign trail on the other side of this break? Don't go away.
කොරෝනා වෛරසයේ පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa joined in a series of public gatherings organised in support of candidates contesting the upcoming general election from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna from the Kandy district yesterday.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa attended several public events yesterday in support of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna candidates contesting the general election from the Kandy district. Accordingly, the head of state participated in a public rally organised by Kandy district candidate Kehliya Ramakwella at the Alawatubala Pradesh Sabha grounds in Harispattuwa.
Government school. You are in a private school? Yes, sir. Swimming? Oh? Hey, what did you do? Kami anda di swimming pool.
ඔතුමාගේ නායකයෙක් අපිට ආයෙ හම්බෙන්න. ඔබතුමා කේක් හම්බෙන්න. තම වතුරේ ඉන්නවා.
අපි විශ්‍රාමිකයෝ. අපි ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිකාස් පක්ෂයේ අවුරුදු 50ක් වැඩි සමාජිකයෝ. ඔබතුමාගේ රජය අපි මරගන්න.
Following this, the president joined the rally held at the weekly fairgrounds in Hatharali at the Kalagedara. Later, the head of state participated in a public event in support of Kandy district candidate Eric Prasanna Veeravardhana at 5th Mile Post, Nugavela. Meanwhile, today, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa visited the sacred temple of the Tooth Relic to receive blessings. The head of state then called on the chief prelate of the Malwatha chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera, and the deputy chief prelate, Most Venerable Niyangoda Vijita Siri Thera. Following this, the president visited the chief prelate of the Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Gnanaratana Thera. The deputy chief prelate of the Askiriya chapter, Venerable Anamaduwe Dhammadasi Thera, and the registrar of the Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Mandagama Dhammananda Thera, were also present at the occasion. Meanwhile, a special stethoscope, designed by Venera Vijay Sekara, a math student of Trinity College, was presented to the president at the temple premises.
Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa once more took aim at the leader of the Samangi Janabalawega, Sajith Premadasa, saying that he destroyed the United National Party like no other in history. Premadasa broke away from the UNP and formed the SJB this year. The Prime Minister's comments came yesterday during a campaign event of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. SLPP has decided to cancel all their propaganda activities, or events I should say, involving the President and the Prime Minister for 3 days starting today.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa took part in a political rally of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna yesterday in the area of Lunava.
රාජ්‍යාංශයේ සේවකයන් ශක්තිමත් කරේ අපි. තමුන්නාන්සේලාට මතක ඇති 77 2005 දක්වා තිබුණු සියලුම ආණ්ඩු රාජ්‍යාංශයේ බෙලහීන කරා. ජූලි වර්ජකයෝ 40000ක් එක පෑම් පහරින් ගෙදර ගියා. සමහරව සිය දීවි නසාගත්තා. රාජ්‍යාංශයේ ලක්ෂ 7ක් තිබිච්ච රාජ්‍යාංශයේ ලක්ෂ 15ක් කරලා ශක්තිමත් කරනවා. ඒ ශක්තිමත් කරපු රාජ්‍යාංශය නිසා තමයි කොරෝනා වෛරසය වගේ මහා ව්‍යසනය මෙතරම් පාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබුණේ කියන එක ක්‍රතුවේදීව අපි මතක් කළ යුතුව තියෙනවා. පසුගිය කාලේ ඔහුගෙන් බත පලි ගැනීම. අපි දැක්කා ලලිත් වීරතුංගව අරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා හිරේ දානවා. අනුෂ පැල්පට අරන් ගිහිල්ලා ජම්පර් රන්දනවා. මොනවා කරාටද? මගේ නියෝගයක් බුද්ධ ජයන්තිය වෙනුවෙන් අපේ හාමුදුරුවෝට මට දුන්න ඉල්ලීමක් සියල් රෙදි බෙදලා දෙන්න කියලා. දඬුවම තමයි හිරේ යවීම. ඒ යුගය පලිගැනීමේ යුගයක්. වෛරක්කාරී යුගයක්. ඒ නිසා මේ තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව ඔබට මම අමුතුවෙන් කියන්න ඕන නැහැ.
The Premier then took part in another public gathering held at the premises of the weekly fair in Antidia.
එක්සත් ජාතිපක්ෂයේ නොයෙක් අවස්ථාවලදී කැඩුනා. 51 දී කැඩුනා. බණ්ඩාරනායක මහත්මයා දී රාජපක්ෂ මහතුරු විපක්ෂයට ගිහිල්ලා අදුවත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය ආපහු නොයෙක් වෙලා අවස්ථාවලදී කැඩිලා ගිහිල්ලා අවසානයේ මෙහෙම කැඩිල්ලක් නම් කැඩිලම නැහැ. ප්‍රේමදාස කැඩුවොත් කැඩුව තමයි. ඒක නම් අපි දැක්කනේ තාත්තා කරපු වැඩ ටික. තාත්තා මතක් වෙනකොට ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයාගේ අපිට මතක් වෙන නොයෙක් දේවල්. මම මිය ගිය කෙනෙකුගේ ඒ අගුණ කියන්න යන්න සූදානම් නැහැ.
Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, questions the legitimacy of the statistics released by the Ministry of Health pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Addressing an election propaganda rally in Kegul, the former Prime Minister alleged that the figures are doctored and are watered down.
A United National Party election propaganda rally was worked off in the area of Amanpitia in the Kegala district yesterday.
දැන් අලුත් තත්ත්වයක් ඇති වෙලා ඉස්සර කොරෝනා පරීක්ෂණ කරන්න තිබුණේ ජයවර්ධනපුර විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ඩෙන්ගු පරීක්ෂණ අංශය. දැන් සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය ඉවත් කළා. ඒ පරීක්ෂණ හරි නෑ කියලා කියනවා. කොරෝනා කාලේ අප්‍රේල් මාසේ මමත් මෛත්‍රී දෙන්නම පරීක්ෂණ අරගත්තේ මේ ජයවර්ධනපුර ඩෙන්ගු මේකේ මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ. අපිට කොරෝනා නෑ කිව්වා. ඊට පස්සේ මට කොරෝනා හැදුන්නේ වැරදි නම් තියෙන්න ඕන කොරෝනා. එතන සිද්ධියක් වුණේ ජින්තු පිටියෙන් ගෙනාවා රෝගීන් වගේ. ඒ රෝගියාට කොරෝනා තියෙනවා කියලා කිව්වා. ජයවර්ධනපුරේ. සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය කොරෝනා නෑ කියලා දාන්න කිව්වා. මේගොල්ලෝ බෑ කිව්වා. මං කියන එක වැරදි නම් මම සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයට කියනවා කරුණාකරලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ පැත්ත කියන්න. ජයවර්ධනපුර එකෙන් කියන්නේ අපිට හැම වෙලෙම කියනවා කොරෝනා එන සංඛ්‍යාව ආවහම ඒක අඩු කරන්න කියලා. ඔයක තියෙන්නේ බන්දුල ගුණවර්ධන ඇමතුමාට. එයා බොරුවක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මේක විශාල ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒක සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය අපිට මේක වුමනා නැහැ. අපිට ඇති කිව්වා දැන් පරීක්ෂණ කරලා. මම දන්නේ හැටියට ආණ්ඩුවේ රෝහල් වලයි මේ හැම එකේම 60කට අඩුව තියෙන්නේ. එකක්වත් සම්පූර්ණයෙන් 100% වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. ලෝකේ අනික් රටවල් කියන පරීක්ෂාගාර වැඩි කරනවා. අපි යන්න කියනවා. අන්න ලෝකෙ වෙන්නේ තැනක් අහලා නැහැ ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ. ආණ්ඩුවට අයිති පරීක්ෂණාගාරයක් ඉවත් කරන එක. ඒකට අපිට විශාල ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වෙනවා මොකද්ද සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශ කරන්න කියලා. විශාල සැකයක් තියෙනවා. මේ සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශේන සංඛ්‍යා ලේඛන අපිට පිළිගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. දැන් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ආපහු බොහෝ දෙනෙක් බය වෙලා. මේක තමයි මේ පොට්ටුවේ ආණ්ඩුව කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Leader of the Samagi Janabalawega, Sajith Premadasa, meanwhile points the finger at the government for going ahead with the polls. Addressing an election campaign event of the party, Premadasa said that the government did not have the best interests of the people at heart when it decided to hold the election. He added that it is the intention of the government to halt the momentum of the opposition.
A public gathering of the Samagi Janabalawega was held yesterday in the area of Aturugiriya under the patronage of the party's leader Sajith Premadasa.
මේ මැතිවරණය පවත්වන්නේ ජනතාවගේ සෞඛ්‍ය සම්පන්න භාවය දිහා බලලා නෙවෙයි ඉක්මනින්ම ජනතාව කනත්තට යවන්නට බලාගෙනයි මේ පස්වෙනිදටත් මේ මැතිවරණය තබන්නට කටයුතු කරන්නේ. මැතිවරණයක් තියෙනවයි කිව්ව හැටියේ කොමිසමටවත් වෙන කාටවත් සදාචාරාත්මක අයිතියක් නැහැ. ඒක කොන්දේසි දාන්න. ඒ කොන්දේසි දැම්මහම ඒකේ ආණිය සිදුවන්නේ විපක්ෂ පාර්ශ්වයට. කියන වෙලාවට 100 කියන්නයි 200 කියන්නයි ආපහු 250ට බස්සන්නයි. ඒක ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය නෙමෙයි. ඒ වගේ වාතාවරණයක් තුල මැතිවරණ තියන්න බෑ. මම රජයටත් කොමිසමටත් කියනවා අනවශ්‍ය නීති රීති රෙගුලාසි ගෙන්නෙන්න එපා. රටේ ජනතාව ගැන හිතනවා නම් කොමිසම කරන්න ඕන. මේ මැතිවරණය කල් දමන්න ඕන. මේ හදන්නේ විපක්ෂයේ රැල්ල නතර කරන්න. අහලකොට කියනවා අහවල් දිනවල ඒ අතට රැස්වීම් තියන්න හැල්. කවුද මේ කොරෝනා දෙවෙනි රැල්ල නිර්මාණය කරේ? කාගේද වගකීම? ආණ්ඩුවේ වගකීම. පොහොට්ටුවේ කාර්යාලවල ගහලා තියෙනවා COVID-19 දිනපු පොහොට්ටුව දිනවමු. ඒතර එන මොකද්ද මේ දෙවෙනි රැල්ල? අද රට වටේම මේක ව්‍යාප්ත වෙලා. COVID ගැන ඊවර ගන්න තිබුණු මොහොතේ මේගොල්ලෝ පියවර ගත්තේ මොනවටද? ඡන්ද තියන්න. ආණ්ඩුවේ අවශ්‍යතාවය පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයේ දිනලා 3න් 2 ගන්න එක. ඒකනේ දැන් මේ 3න් 2 ගන්න අර අපේ හාදේ එක්කත් දැන් කිවිසුම් ගහගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒක තමයි සොඳුරු පොලිටිකල් ඩීල් එක.
Now, Executive Director of the People's Action for Free and Fair Elections, Rohan Hettiarachchi, says that with more candidates this time around using digital platforms to promote their candidacies owing to COVID-19 restrictions, the signs are promising that the future of election campaigns lies in social media.
In these parliamentary elections, digital campaign is highly used, especially because of these COVID situations. Because most of the candidates, most of the political parties, they can't do their traditional campaign because of the COVID and also with the health guidelines. So this is the easiest way for the candidate to bring their message to the public. And also the digital campaign, the advantage is you can select the target. You can select the area, you can select sex-wise, you can select age-wise. You can give them a very specific message. During this election period, we have noticed most of the candidates, they are using this social media platform, Viber, WhatsApp, YouTube, website, all this digital system for their election propaganda. So we hope that in the coming years, there will not be any posters cut out, even without COVID. And also most of the people now using this smartphone, so easily candidate can reach their target group. I think within next couple of years period, this will be the main campaigning method in this country.
Now, a chief inspector of police affiliated to the Ampara police station was arrested today over concealing evidence from the blasts that took place at a residence in Saindamardu just after the Easter Sunday spate of terror. Members of the Presidential Commission probing the attacks toured the area recently, and the footage, or the video footage I should say, they recorded during their visit, meanwhile, was released to media today.
During a search operation conducted by the security forces in Saindamardu following the Easter Sunday spate of terror, 3 explosions occurred from within a residence in the area. After suicide blasts, security forces found the bodies of 3 men, 3 women and 6 children from within the house in question. There were 3 more bodies outside the residence. Later, it transpired that attacks ringleader Zahran Hashim's father, his brother Rilwan and other family members of the terrorists had perished. Zahran's wife and child, however, survived. In the meantime, a chief inspector of the Ampara police was arrested today pertaining to the investigations conducted on the blasts in Saindamardu. The chief inspector, identified as Abu Bakr, was apprehended at around 4 this morning over concealing evidence about the explosions. He had been affiliated to the Ampara Police Transport Division and was in charge of the police garage. At the time of the attacks, he had been serving as the officer in charge of the traffic division of the Kaluwanchikudi police in Ampara. The arrested police officer is due to be detained and questioned under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday terror attacks meanwhile engaged in a tour in the area of Katankudi of Ampara recently. The video footage recorded by the Government Information Department during the visit was released to media today.
We will see you shortly after this break. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, the Colombo stock market ended on a negative note today as fears of the spike in infections sent stocks plummeting. The all-share price index fell 112.86 points to close at 4,879.76. S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks, meanwhile, fell 16.09 points to 2,072.10, or more like 10. Market turnover was 1.34 billion rupees. The market was halted for 30 minutes from 11:02 this morning to 11:32 a.m. this morning as the S&P SL20 index dropped by 5% at the start of the trading. Now here's a brief report on today's market performance.
Today we saw a massive selling pressure in the stock market today at the start of the market itself, an extension from last Friday's selling pressure that we saw. So over the weekend we saw an escalation in the number of COVID-19 patients and different clusters around the country, and with that the local investors have been on a selling mode. So with that what we saw is at the start of the day itself a significant amount of selling pressure led to a market closure. Basically a market halt with the S&P SL20 index falling by over 5%. So that has been the trigger point today for the market halt. With S&P SL20 index falling by over 5%, the market was halted for about 30 minutes of the day, and then afterwards it was reopened, and then selling pressure again continued in the market with the S&P SL20 index falling over 6.5%. However, the next halt was due if the index had fallen about 7.5%. Before that, the market reversed and we saw buying interest coming back into the market. We saw buying interest across the board in most of the counters, especially in the blue chip companies led by the banking sector stocks. Saw significant amount of buying interest coming immediately after a bit of time from the close of the market, and with that from the 6.5% mark we saw the market recovering significantly. Over the next 1 hour or 1.5 hours we saw a significant recovery in the market and buying interest coming back into the market. However, after midday again towards the last hour of trading we saw again selling pressure coming into the market. With that again a downward trend re-emerged in the markets within the last hour of trading, and the market towards the closure fell by over 100 points. So at the end of the day the SPI fell about 112 points while the S&P SL20 fell by about 68 points. So we saw a significant amount of turnover today, again over 1.3 billion shares, mostly onto the selling side, and the market was dominated by local investors. However, on the foreign front, interestingly, we saw net foreign buying today. So the net foreign buying figure was around 158 million rupees. We are seeing net foreign buying after over about 1.5 months from the market reopening after the COVID-19 market closure.
And the Monetary Board has suspended the business activities of ETI Finance Limited and Swarna Mahal Finance Services PLC with effect from today. This comes in the wake of a lack of action by the two companies' boards to revive the companies through new investment sources following their inability to repay depositors after what the Monetary Board cited was various irregularities that took place in 2011.
The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, at its meeting held on the 10th of July, has taken a decision to suspend the business activities of ETI Finance Limited and Swarna Mahal Financial Services PLC with effect from today in terms of Section 31 of the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011. The Monetary Board says that the decision was taken due to various irregularities that have taken place since 2011, as well as the inability of the company's boards of directors and senior management to satisfactorily address the deficiencies. The Monetary Board had earlier on 2nd January 2018 issued directions to the two companies restricting their affairs and the powers held by their boards of directors. Further, a management panel was also appointed by the Monetary Board to oversee their affairs. During this period, both companies were able to repay 30% of their outstanding deposits. However, despite the Monetary Board having issued directives to the boards on finding suitable investors to revive their operations, no action was taken to do so. However, the financial positions of the two companies had continued to deteriorate, resulting in their inability to make further deposit repayments. The central bank says that following the suspension, the Sri Lanka Deposit Insurance and Liquidity Support Scheme will take necessary action to compensate all insured depositors under applicable laws and regulations. This would entail 75% of ETI's total depositors receiving full payments, while the remaining 25% would receive 600,000 rupees as part of their deposits. Meanwhile, 89% of Swarnamal Finance's total depositors will be reimbursed in full, while the remaining 11% too will receive 600,000 rupees as part of their deposit amounts.
Now in global news, promising news on COVID-19 treatments and vaccines are in today, as the US Food and Drug Administration have given two experimental vaccines developed by Germany's BioNTech and US company Pfizer fast-track status. Meanwhile, South Korean health authorities are reporting as yet unconfirmed improvements in 1 in 3 Korean COVID-19 patients following treatment with remdesivir.
2 experimental coronavirus vaccines by German biotech firm BioNTech and US pharmaceutical giant Pfizer have received the US Food and Drug Administration's fast-track designation. The vaccines are the 2 most advanced of the 4 vaccines being developed by the companies. Meanwhile, according to a United Nations report, nearly 1 in 9 people in the world are going hungry, with the coronavirus pandemic exacerbating already worsening trends this year. Economic slowdowns and climate-related shocks are pushing more people into hunger, while nutritious foods remain too expensive for many. Further, according to health authorities, 1 in 3 South Korean patients reported to be seriously ill with COVID-19 showed an improvement in their conditions after being given Gilead Sciences antiviral remdesivir. Authorities, however, said that more research was needed to determine if the improvement was attributable to the drug or other factors such as patients' immunity and other therapies.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.